Week 1 of trying to complete a race on the Formula 4. I qualified P4, so the pace was there. Unfortunately, the start wasn't. I had a poor launch, lost one position going into Turn 1, and immediately found myself in traffic. Turn 1 was busy as usual, but I kept it sensible. No contact, no damage, which in Formula 4 is always a good outcome. Turn 2 was a bit more complicated. The car ahead locked up, so I went deeper into the corner to avoid contact. But the car behind lost control and hit me on the left, and as I was correcting the car back onto line, another out-of-control car hit me on the right. As the chaos unfolded behind me, I was fortunate to still have the car intact. But my luck didn't last. Coming into Turn 8, I had to slam on the brakes to avoid hitting the car ahead and ended up losing the rear of the car. Unfortunately, the cars behind had no time to react, and I triggered a massive crash. At that point, it was clear my race was basically over. I'd be heading to the pit and out of contention. Race 2 started with me in P7 right in the middle of the pack. Turn 1 was chaotic, as expected, but I did my best to avoid contact. Then, car number 12 came up from behind, completely out of control, and hit me from the rear. I managed to keep the car on track, so at least I was still in the race. I was under pressure from two cars right behind me, both following closely, for a tense few corners. But luck swung my way. They ended up taking each other out, leaving me clear to push forward and chase the cars ahead. At this point, I was P6, but the cars ahead were a bit of a gap, so I knew I had to put in some fast laps to catch them. Then luck struck again. The cars fighting for position ahead ended up coming into contact, and just like that, I gained 2 positions and moved up to P4, with P3 in my sights. I pushed hard to close the gap, but Turn 7 had other plans. I clipped too much curb, lost control, and spun, dropping 3 positions. Frustrating? Absolutely. But I kept my head down, focused, and tried to salvage what I could. I was back at P7, but I could tell I had more pace than the car ahead. I followed him closely, looking for the right moment to overtake. He was defending well, so I stayed patient and fair, knowing the long straight into Turn 1 would be my chance. After a full lap of shadowing him, I made my move on, Turn 1 and took P6. It felt good, not just the overtake, but having a respectful battle with a driver who knew how to defend properly. Okay, forget everything I just said. I don't want to talk about it. Race 3, I qualified P4, but P3 never made it to the grid, so technically I was starting P3. Clean start for me. Up front, P1 and P2 got into a brief scramble, which handed me the opportunity to move up. Car number 1 was technically still ahead, but I knew he'd have to serve a penalty for cutting the track. With that mistake, I was able to take the lead of the race. I was leading the race, but the pressure was on. Car number 6 was right on my tail. From my rearview mirrors, I could tell he was struggling in the corners, probably due to some damage from the Turn 1 incident. Even so, he was catching up little by little, staying close for about 3 laps. I knew that one small mistake could cost me the lead, so I stayed focused and patient, keeping the car smooth and under control. Eventually, it happened. He couldn't keep it on the track anymore. He spun the car around, giving me the breathing room I needed. With the pressure gone, I could finally relax a bit and focus on driving clean, chasing what would be my first podium. I couldn't get too comfortable though. A small mistake off track at Turn 4 had me worried I might hit the wall and end my race. Fortunately, the gap I'd built over the previous 2 or 3 laps was enough to recover. I managed to get the car back on track and keep control, and from there it was smooth sailing to the finish line. Crossing the line, I had won my first FIA Formula 4 race. Thanks for watching.